According to a recent Reuters report, the Venezuelan regime will provide through its oil industry, PDVSA, 19 barrels of diesel to Cuba, representing, of course, the first time in 7 months that Caracas essentially take this action with the closest political allies that it has had since the rise of Hugo Chavez in the late 90s. So this particular situation comes in a moment where the Cuban regime is essentially on the ropes because of the lack of fuel and, of course, the return of electricity blackouts in the island, all around the island. Of course, this situation, remember the worst episodes of the so-called special period, which was the name that the Cuban regime put to the moment, the horrible episode during the early 90s where the Soviet Union fell and the economic support that Moscow provided to Cuba stopped for a long period of time, representing a massive chaos in the Caribbean island, given the fact that this place of the world since the revolution started essentially maintained itself because of the Soviet money. So on that moment where the Soviet Union fell, there was no longer this incredible amount of money to Cuba, which of course led to a huge hunger crisis and, of course, electricity blackouts. So these last months represented the perfect storm against the Cuban tyranny, given the fact that Cuba has been struggling with a diesel deficit for vehicles, of course, and of course power generation. And at the same time that this situation has happened, Venezuelan oil imports remain below historic levels. So, as I just previously said, this was some kind of perfect storm against the Cuban regime. So, getting to this point, it is an undeniable fact that the Venezuelan regime needs to take this step, since this has always been part of the bilateral cooperations where Venezuela sends oil for free while Cuba sends medical personnel. I mean, this was essentially the deal at the beginning. This was nothing more than a charade. Many people actually criticized this deal. However, with the pass of the years, it has been revealed that in addition of medical personnel, Cuba always provides Venezuela with military agents to control the Venezuelan armed forces and, of course, political advisors to maintain Venezuelan power and influence in terms of diplomacy and, of course, geopolitics. Reporting from Medellin, Colombia, Luis Orozco, Newsweek.